step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right, we're here with the GoHunt guys, Trail and Brady. Welcome to the Keep Hammering Collective.
Yep, it's good to be here.
Yeah, I mean, this is an impromptu discussion because you guys, I mean, I can't tell you how thankful I am you guys came in for my Lift, Run, Shoot event. And, you know, you gave presentations, 4 of them, talking about earning tags, getting tags, where to hunt, how to hunt, opportunities for new bow hunters, because a lot of the guys today were new bow hunters. Mm-hmm. So how did that go, talking to everybody today?
It was honestly phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like once you start talking to them, you see people just instantly asking questions, or they're taking photos of the presentation. Once they start taking photos, like, okay, we're doing something right, even though we gave them a lot of information, all hot and fast.
I mean, it went good. I had moments where I was like, okay, I thought I prepared maybe a half hour, and I thought I was going to leave Brady another half hour, and then I was like an hour and 10 minutes into it. I'm like, I'm definitely over prepared.
The first one, I think I talked 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. A lot of talking though. It was good.
Trail should have prepped his presentation a little bit more.
Yeah, I did mine this. Yeah, I did mine this morning in the hotel. I mean, I know the subject top to bottom, but as far as like actually putting slides together and stuff, I did it this morning. But don't tell my boss.
But there's a lot of information though. Like you really have to explain it because there's so many different things that involve every single state, and no state's the same. Everything's so complicated. Right. And then you're trying to explain it to someone who might not ever hunted out west before. Like there's a big learning curve.
Definitely.
Yeah. But it's like I said. I think I definitely saw blank stares, today. Yeah. I saw some guys that were just like, okay, this is maybe more than I can take in. But I mean, at the end of it, kind of the take home message is, the Insider tool, which, we work for GoHunt. We have this platform called GoHunt Insider, which is essentially a research platform to help people draw permits or pick up a permit over the counter. And I just basically kind of told everybody, look, there's a lot of this information that you're probably not going to remember, but everything's within the platform, and just, bite off one piece at a time. Mm-hmm. So just start to chew at it. As the state draw deadlines come up, read the application strategy articles, just kind of pick and choose and just see if it makes sense for you, and then just chew on it.
Yeah. They're going to leave here. They got a lot of information, not just from you guys, but from everybody.
Yeah.
And new guys, some guys had never even shot a bow before, which I'm excited about, because when I looked out to everybody, you guys have been in the industry forever. And the industry can be, I mean, it's great sometimes. Sometimes it's like not great.
Yep.
But every person today, because they don't know that, hey, you're supposed to be like a tough, big, badass hunter. You're supposed to act cool and not think other people are cool. Don't you know that? Mm-hmm. And they didn't know that. They're like just enjoying every moment and just learning, and like, oh, this is incredible. Big smiles from everybody. Yep. How different is that? Isn't it?
So different.
Yeah. It feels way different than me, to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially I grew up in southern Utah, and I know, a lot of it, everybody I knew hunted, growing up. All my buddies hunt. It's what we talk about when we run into each other at the gas station. Like, everybody talks hunting. We're always talking hunting. We're always looking for, the biggest buck, biggest bull. We're kind of having them, dick measuring contest, if you will.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of that in hunting. And today there wasn't a lot of that at all. It was just like sponges.
I know. And it was just, that's kind of, my focus, I'll be honest, on this podcast. I haven't had hardly any hunters on. I've just had, and I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why. I'm trying to think, why have I not had any hunters on? So it's just like, I don't know. I think because I've talked to so many guys for so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad you guys are here. And I wanted you guys, as soon as I knew you guys were coming, I'm like, you know what? If it can work out, I want to have them on the podcast, because I feel like I've listened to some of the stuff you've done. I feel like you guys are fair. I don't feel like it's the dick measuring vibe. Mm-hmm. It feels like pretty helpful, pretty genuine. And I'm like, I like those guys, and it's not, I'm not talking shit about anybody else. I don't really care, but I just don't even put energy into it anymore. And I did for a long time. You work for Eastman's, you work in the industry. It's all about big animals and this and that. And it's like, I got burnt out on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I love hunting. Mm-hmm. I love everything. It's my life. I don't like the drama part of hunting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of it too. I mean, I live in the mecca of it, so I get it.
Yeah,
but
Utah's full of that.
Yeah, Utah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, Utah's full of it. Which, I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. But it is refreshing to just have a group of people that are, brand new into it. I got a brother that's kind of an adult onset hunter. Like, he's in his he might be 50 at this point, but lives in Idaho. Never hunted. He hunted a little bit when we were a kid, but he's just kind of getting back into it. And just kind of like helping him and watching him go through that whole process, getting him set up with gear, watching him. He drew his first elk tag this year, right?
Nice.
In Idaho. But like, it's kind of put the, perspective. You're like, okay, yeah, I remember what this is all about. It's, and I still feel that same way. I mean, every time I go out in the fall, that's like my time to just disconnect and kind of, come back with some new perspective of what really, I do love.
Right. So I guess at the point I was starting to make is that my podcast has been, I think a lot of hunters, we preach to the choir a lot. Outdoor Channel was, hey, it's just hunters watching other hunters. We already got those guys. So this is what I've done with Lift, Run, Shoot in the podcast is like, we got the hunters. I know what people like to talk about. I know all that. I want to expose other people, either athletes or actors or whatever, to what I do.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's what everybody today was. It's not the hardcore guys who've been doing it for 100 years, but it's guys just fired up. They see something, they follow me online or whatever. They're like, oh, I want to try this Lift, Run, Shoot thing, and I want to know more about hunting. I love that part. I love the part because I feel like as a hunting community, we get pretty protective, right?
Yep.
I mean, I could probably be the worst. When I hunted, the wilderness, I didn't want anybody to know where I was. If I saw a boot track, I'd be like, what the fuck? Who is back here?
Yeah, the guys in the office don't even know where I hunt.
Right.
I literally lie all the time to people I work with and trust and talk to on a daily basis of where I go.
Because you know how it goes. It takes one person.
Yep.
Where I was hunting, it wasn't like I said, Oregon's not great. One guy can screw up the whole, if you got basins on one side of the ridge, screw them all up, So I would just I don't want to see one person. I don't want anybody to know where I'm going. Yep. And it's, so I get the protective part. I do. But at some point, we need to be able to talk about hunting and outside and grow it. Yep. And, there's a big thing Matt Rinell is a big one on, wanting to shut down social media and thinks that the growth of hunting will hurt all of us. And I don't feel that way. I mean, I don't feel that way. I understand, like I just said, I understand. I don't want people to know where I hunt. I get it. Yep. It's a resource that we need to protect, but we also need to talk about why hunting is great and why it should be celebrated.
Did you have a moment? I'm curious. Did you have a moment within hunting that flipped you as far as I need to do more to share this thing? I'm just curious. I think back, I don't know if it's age, I'm in my 40s at this point, but I feel like I've had moments in the woods, hunting elk, specifically where it's this experience, it means so much to me, and I know what it's meant to me in my life that I would feel like I just want more people to experience that same feeling. If they can feel that feeling, maybe they can find that moment for them, and it'll bring some sort of real meaningful something to them. I don't know if it's purpose or not, but did you ever had a moment like that? Did you have it flip for you at some point?
Before early on, I was very selfish. I feel like if somebody's killing something, it's I took it personal. I wanted to kill something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was always competition. My whole life, people have said, you're too competitive. So that was really hard to let go of that. But once I got older, as you said, then I get to the place where, I've killed a bunch of stuff. It doesn't mean I don't want to kill anymore, but what I enjoy almost as much as anything is taking new people hunting. I took Kevin Costner's son hunting. He's, busy doing other stuff. His son wanted to hunt. I'm like, I could go get him on a buck. That was great. I took my son who normally does this, his army buddy, he'd from Florida, he'd never killed a blacktail. So I took him. Rogan, I love, his first elk and his first bear was with me. And it's just I get as much enjoyment and sense of satisfaction from that than, and it sounds cliche because people say, they say stuff like this all the time, but I do truly feel just as happy when they kill, because I was there and I know what it means. Killing that buck up there in the Steens in 1991, my third year of bow hunting, changed everything for me. One animal. I killed something that gave me confidence. I was like, wow. Yeah. And so if, as you said, if that impact can be had by somebody else, it's life-changing. We should want to share that. Yeah. That's what it means to be a human and lift others up, right? Yep. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. You're spot on. I was curious because I feel the same way. I feel like I've had some moments where it was so impactful. I did a 10-day solo elk hunt in New Mexico, arrowed on day 10 by myself. Didn't see a person the entire 10 days. So just completely out there on my own. I shot this bull and it was like this just overwhelming feeling of just like satisfaction. Like I'd done this thing that was just, it felt to me like virtually impossible. Like I just didn't think this could ever happen. And just same thing, like sense of confidence, sense of like satisfaction, and just like I did this amazing thing. And I kind of came home from it being like, man, if somebody else could feel this, and like I have a certain skill set and I have like the knowledge, I've been playing this game in the West as far as like applying for tags and getting tags. Like if I can hand off some of that information and help somebody do something like just happen for me, like it could impact them forever. It could be like a moment in their life that they could always draw from. So I was curious.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of like emails from people saying you've inspired me to move out west, to chase dreams. Yeah. Like when people talk about that, you're just like
moving.
It really hits you hard. Yeah. Like every day you wake up in the mountains, it's like that sunrise you see. It's like, I want someone else to experience that. I want them to feel what I feel right now and why I'm back here. It's powerful. Like you said, it is cliche to talk about like, oh, it gives me purpose. It makes me, more motivated when I come back in the real world, but it really does. Yeah. It truly does. It's like, if anyone can experience it, I would love everyone to try it out.
Well, and you know how lucky we are to have grown up doing this? Yeah. Because you see, even your brother getting started late, but there's so many people who aspire to do what we do, and we've just done it. And it's just like, you can't choose where you're born or kind of what you did, but we just fell into the mountains and what we do. And now you look like, what if you're born in West Virginia? You know what I mean? Not saying anything bad about that, but it's definitely not the West. It's definitely not chasing big mule deer bucks, big bulls, bears. I mean, it's and so what I think about is what else can rival hunting? You know what I mean? Being in the mountains, doing something that man has done for thousands of years, and the feeling you had when you were successful. What else can rival that?
I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's athletic pursuits that people, feel like they've achieved that thing. You watch Netflix, these guys that are summiting, these giant peaks and stuff. I'm sure there's some of that too. But I don't know. But for me, like that's it. Yeah. Like that's where I get it. I don't know if, and I think part of that's just like in my upbringing, like I said, and maybe probably a lot of it's just in your DNA, and kind of who you are. But for me, that's it. That's where I get it.
So, I mean, you guys are in the business of sharing what we do, right? I mean, that's the whole. So, what's your thoughts on people who don't want to share what we do? Who are more protective of, I guess you could say, the resource, thinking it's a limited resource in some way. What's your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think you got to keep sharing information nowadays. I think it's really for the longevity of hunting as a whole. We need more people to be passionate about it. And so, there's things that sometimes like, why do you guys give away, this information? But it's like, you can talk about all this information every single day. Maybe you'll inspire one or two people to go do it, but you still got to go do it and put the work in. But they're going to learn about it and they might get excited about it. They might tell their friends or buddies. It's like, I live in a state of Nevada. Like it's hard to get a non-resident tag in Nevada. I wish we could give out more tags, but we just don't have the habitat in the water to do it. I want more people to experience it. It's like, selfishly, I'd like to go on the mountain and not see anyone. Sure. But it's like, I grew up in the Midwest. Yeah. It was always my dream to come out in the mountains, and now I'm here. It is meaningful to have other people enjoy what we enjoy at all times. And you got to be secret about some things, but like it's a digital age. There's so much information out there. So you might as well give them the right information to be safe, successful, to enjoy it, to prosper out there rather than just saying, hey, here you go. Like, go have a hard time. Like, see if you ever do this again.
Yeah.
They're gonna quit and go take up golf. Like, why would you want to go play golf when you can go hunt?
Right. Yeah.
I'm all in favor of bringing more people into the space. I think there's plenty of opportunity. I also think that hunting's hard. Mm-hmm. And I think there's probably a lot of people that are going to jump into it and maybe find out that isn't for them, but they get a chance to try it, if they want to. And I think I wrote an article for GoHunt, like when I first started working for GoHunt, and I basically said, I think that your views on hunting, kind of the rules and legislation and like the way that hunting and wildlife management continues to go forward, I think a lot of those decisions are going to be made by people who don't hunt. Mm-hmm. So if I can at least shed a good light on hunting, if I can get some of those people out and give them, at least a little bit of knowledge, and maybe they want to go out and try it out and find out it's not for them, but they understand what it is, what hunting is. I think if I can share, positive experience, if I can shed a positive light in hunting and just the tradition of hunting, I think it's a good thing, because I think we need more people that are, they may not hunt, but I think they have to understand the tradition. They have to understand the North American model of conservation and what it does. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the way forward. I don't know. I mean, I grew up in Utah in the the 80s and 90s when I started hunting. Like, if you want to see hunting pressure, I'm like, go back then, right? Yeah. I bought my over-the-counter tag at the local gas station. Like, a 2-point was an anomaly. Like, you just didn't see deer, right?
Right.
So fast forward to now, it's in a good place. It's a little bit tougher to get tags, but the opportunity's still there. There's still a lot of elk on the landscape, more elk on the landscape than ever.
And I think, here's how I see it. I think a lot of people, they like the idea of being some badass bow hunter in the mountains, right? As you said, it's freaking hard. Mm-hmm. So most people might have that goal, probably get kicked in the nuts, maybe go to rifle hunting, which is fine. Great. Maybe quit hunting. But the point, the point with my social media and what I talk about here is just explaining hunting the right way. Yep. Because, my page might reach, on average 30 million a week impressions. 30 million people get exposed to what I think about hunting and how I feel is respectful and the merciful way to do it, and a good mindset. And then that message is curated how I want, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's how I do it. I try to do what's good for hunting. Yeah. So 30 million people aren't going to be hunting, but they got that message. Mm-hmm. So those people, once the votes come down, or once they're talking to somebody about hunting and they say, well, I don't know, I follow this guy on social media and he explained bear hunting like this, and that, we need to do it because of, fawns and calves. And that's why, that's the positives of social media. People talk about the negatives and the ills of it. It's like, yeah, but that's with everything. Mm-hmm. But let's not ignore the positives, and the positives are, man, I see a lot of people talking seeing hunting in a good light and seeing the positive attributes of it. Yeah. I mean, is that what you guys are seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love for more people to hunt. It's like I said earlier, I think it's just that I'm getting old and like more sentimental, and I've got kids now that are teenagers, and get to take them hunting. Like, I just see what that does for them, for me. I just see what the outdoors and hunting and just the pursuit and what it can mean for somebody. I know what it's meant for me. Yeah. So if I can provide that to somebody else and get more people involved in it, it can only be good in their life. I don't think it can be bad. No.
It's changed all our lives sitting here. You moved from the Midwest. Why? To hunt?
Well, college a little bit, but it was mainly hunting. Yes. Yeah. But I just wanted to chase big mountains. Like, I wanted that adventure. My dad used to always go out to Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, come back with stories.
And he was a hunter.
Photos. Like, it was like Trail said, ingrained in your DNA. Yeah. It's just something you did. You always went to, local hunting camps, sharing photos, passing around little magazines and stuff like that. And just that pursuit of moving out west just gave me, freedom of being outdoors, public land everywhere. Yeah, Minnesota's great. Great state to go fishing. Everyone has a boat. You can always go do fun things, but it's like you feel claustrophobic in city life. And I wanted to move to the mountains just to chase dreams, chase hunting, see what my dad experienced when he was younger. Like, and it just, like literally, you know, giving up a great life in the Midwest to move out there by myself was, you know, a daunting deal.
It's a big move.
But like, it literally changed everything about how I lived my life, because I knew at that moment in life, like, sure, you can say like you're meant for something. Like I feel like I was meant to, you know, be in the mountains, experience hard things. Like I love a good sufferfest in the mountains. It's actually rewarding. Like I said, you come back home, you feel this more refreshed, your mind's all there. And it's like, and then being out there, we're talking about like, you know, giving back. It's like, well, my family's still in the Midwest. I want to inspire some of those family, friends to come out and do that same sort of thing I'm seeing, because at the end of the day, like, it's just, you just can't help but like enjoy everything I've seen. It's like, I gotta share it. I gotta do that.
I think Brady and I are both a little bit socially awkward too. Like there's a
you're
so just the opportunity to be in the woods, you don't have to talk to anybody. Like the possibility. I mean, I like your background's in biology, my background's in biology. So like my favorite biologist joke is like, how do you tell the difference between an extrovert and an introvert biologist? An extrovert biologist looks at your shoes when he's talking to you. So, it's my favorite show. So it's kind of the thing. You know? But I think that's where, I know that's where I feel most at home.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
just don't have to talk to people and just kind of be on my own.
And so, did you come out for school sports?
Nope, just school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always kind of wanted to be a fisheries biologist, because if I wanted to be a big game biologist, but then I realized I have to work in the fall. I can't hunt.
Can't hunt.
So fishery side, I could, you know, work in the spring, summer, early, you know, September, and then I could take off a ton of time and just go hunting always. So like, it just, you know, kind of worked out that the school was a good fishery school, but it really was really good hunting in Montana.
Yeah.
That's why I was a fifth year senior. I might have missed a few classes.
I understand.
You know, didn't go because there's just, you're out there. It's like, here I am, you know, young kid, and tons of opportunity, tons of things to do, a lot of good influences of people who wanted to get me outside and chase dreams with them. And
Montana, you couldn't ask for a better school for just a student body that wants to get outdoors.
Yeah, it's a nature's playground. Everywhere you look, there's animals, there's places to do, places to see. Like it's.
Speaking of Montana, my brother has had a rough race in the crazy mountains there.
That's a nasty place.
He did that. I did the 100 last year. He paced me on the second half. I didn't do that great, but I, got it done. He had to drop at 64, but that country is freaking rugged. His feet were a mess, apparently. That's why he dropped. And he's tough. He's a better runner than me. That country, 100 miles up there.
Dropped at 64, man.
I know. I this kid from here won. His name's Nate Jacqua. He won it, just today. But man, that's beautiful country. It's have you been up there?
I've been in the crazy quite a bit.
It's
back in the day.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but man, it's rugged.
Yeah.
How's he feeling? You talk to him?
I haven't. No, he just dropped this morning, so it's I don't know. He's probably a little banged up, and it's kind of remote out there.
Have you ever DQ'd on a race? You ever dropped out on a run? I was just curious. Like, what's that feel like? I'm curious because it's so. That's so much effort. Like it's such a long ways to run.
Yeah, and
then it's I don't know. It's so hard, but you get to. I know I've been in a lot of races where I want to.
Yeah,
and you can come up with reasons. And also, who's going to say anything? So if you drop it, I'm not saying this is what Taylor did, but if you drop at 60. What's somebody going to say?
Nothing.
Because it's like, fuck, you didn't do anything. Well, I ran 60 miles. You can't say shit. But if you say, my hamstring, I just, couldn't go, but you just were done running and you just wanted a way out, nobody knows if that, but
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really hard to have those big dreams and goals go through. Even 60 miles of pain and suffering in the mountains is hard. But the disappointment to have to drop, God.
Yeah. That drive home, those thoughts in your head.
Oh, just terrible. Terrible. And he just got back from Europe. He was over there. So another big ultra is UTMB, and it goes through 3 countries there. And he was on that course. So I thought he was going to be in good shape. We did an ultra here. He won. I got second. He done I think 250 milers recently did good. So I actually thought he could win, but these races are on that day. If your body just is like,
not today.
and that happens. That happens. It's tough.
Yeah.
You don't know.
I've never ran that far, so I was just curious what it would be like to.
Terrible.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's terrible even when it goes good.
Yeah.
So when it goes bad, it's really terrible. But yes, so Montana. How did you get? You grew up in Utah, but what's been your journey? I have known of you. I don't know if I know the exact trajectory of what you've done. Did you ever work in New Mexico at the TO? No.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope, never did.
But anyway, so tell me your story.
Yeah, grew up in just a tiny town in southern Utah. So my dad was a park manager at a reservoir, so Otter Creek State Park, which is just a tiny state park. I mean, I think Antimony is probably maybe 150, 180 people. Just a tiny little town. Our closest neighbor was a mile. So, I mean, I grew up right in the heart of some of the best like elk country and deer country in southern Utah. So, I mean, I have pictures of me when I was a little kid with, elk feeding in the backyard, me sitting on a picnic table. And like, I remember my oldest brother, he's 12 years older than I am, Todd. He'd throw me on the back of an old green Kawasaki motorcycle when I was just a little kid. He and I shared a room, and we'd take off in the winter and we'd just go cruise and just look at mule deer, on the winter range. And so, it was fun. I mean, it was a great place to grow up. We had the reservoir across the street. I mean, we ice fished and ice skated, but so my parents are originally from Indiana. My dad did move out to the West because he wanted to chase hunting. So always just liked the thought of hunting elk and deer. And so that's why they came out. And, I played sports in high school, played basketball and baseball. I wanted to be a dentist for some reason. I thought that'd be a phenomenal occupation. I thought so I went into biology and just got to a point where I was like, I don't think I can look in people's mouths every day. I don't think that's what I want to do.
There's a lot of dirty mouths out there.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd always kind of hunted, I didn't take it as seriously like as I was a teenager because I was playing sports and that was kind of my focus, but I always hunted with my dad. And then I got a job right out of college, kind of like when I was going to college with the Forest Service. My dad got me a job and I worked on this trail crew. And so I got to be outdoors every single day. And then I got a job with the wildlife biologist for the Fish Lake National Forest, and I was doing habitat projects with him, and I was doing wildlife surveys. And I was like, man, this is way better. I'm out every single day.
Yeah.
And just decided I didn't want to be a dentist anymore. So
yeah.
So then I switched over to wildlife biology and got my degree in wildlife science. And then I kept working for the Forest Service, and then eventually transitioned over and got a job with the Utah Division of Wildlife as a habitat biologist. So I did that for 8 years, and we did just massive amounts of habitat restoration work. Had some really cool programs working within Utah for the benefit of mule deer and elk. A lot of big game winter range, like pinyon juniper restoration to like back into sagebrush, and I did all that. And in the meantime, got married and had 3 kids, and then I always liked to hunt, and like I was saving up when I worked for this state. I was always saving up all my comp time, all my sick leave, just any annual leave days I could get to go out and hunt. And I might get 1 or 2 tags a year, and I just go out and bust my ass and do as good as I could. And I think I started to kill a few animals, and eventually started talking to GoHunt. Those guys were looking for writers, so I started writing for them, and then they offered me a job full time and just the ability to hunt more in the fall.
How long ago was that?
It's been 7 years.
Oh, 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was with the division for probably 7 or 8 years, and then I've been with GoHunt for about 7 years.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's kind of the thing, man. I just like to hunt.
Yeah.
And the freedom in the fall, a little bit more freedom, and then I've been able to do some hunts since I've worked for GoHunt that I could have probably never put together, like on my state wages, and,
right.
Trying to make that happen. So, it's been good. I just want to hunt as much as I can, and it's been a good ride.
As we all know, I've been putting all my guests through a pretty good cardio session on Mount Pisgah. Go Ruck is a welcome new addition to the podcast and Lift Run Shoot series. I love the 80-pound sandbags, but I'm not sure how my guests feel about it. But what do they say? Pain is weakness leaving the body. All the people at Go Ruck are beasts, and I'm thrilled to partner with them. We use the rucks and sandbags on almost every episode, And now you can take your training to the next level as they are offering listeners 10% off when you use code CAM, C-A-M, at goruck.com. See you guys on the mountain. You better not forget that weight. Guys, it's Cameron Haynes here. I want you to win this brand new 2023 Ford Raptor. The tax man loves coming for that money, right? I'm giving away $10,000 cash to offset that for the winning. Enter to win, CameronHaynes.com. Keep hammering. I want you guys, your favorite animals to hunt. Like you're a mule deer, right?
Mule deer all day, every day. Elk are cool and all, they bugle, sure.
I heard that, yeah.
But like, you get up on a high point and they're glassing for mule deer. They're more majestic. They're the fairer species.
More majestic?
Yeah, they're way more majestic. they live where the sheep live. They live above the sheep, above the mountain goats.
Hard no.
So you're elk?
I'm an elk guy. Yeah, I love to bow hunt elk.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything better than to bow hunt an elk.
Yeah.
I mean, they're way more dynamic. They bugle. They got bigger antlers, bigger bodies.
They're so noisy.
They're fantastic.
Mountains are supposed to be peaceful. It's supposed to just be you and them. And
yeah.
What about you?
Man.
Break the tie.
Yeah. If I had to choose one, it'd be elk.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely elk.
There's a lot of...
Do you see the logo right there?
I do see the...
Do you see a giant mule deer in the middle?
The reason why is like when I was a kid, I couldn't... First of all, I couldn't even afford to elk hunt at first, right? Mm-hmm. So I just hunted black-tailed deer around here. But, everybody's dream in this little small town was like, if you could get a 6-point bull...
You did something.
Dude. I mean, I didn't know anybody who'd ever killed a 6-point bull, but everybody had like either the belt buckle or on the gate or whatever it was is like the silhouette of a 6x6, right? So that was the dream, is a 6-point bull. And I think it's just left over from that.
Yeah.
I mean...
I remember my dad drew a tag in Utah in the 80s, and he killed a bull. It's like a 330 bull.
It's a good bull.
Great bull.
Yeah.
It's mainframe, basically a mainfame 5 points. Got little tiny fists on both sides.
Must be a big 5 then.
It's a big 5.
Yeah.
But I remember, everybody coming to look at that bull.
The whole town came over?
Everybody within anywhere came to look at that bull. Because that's the story of elk, and that's just in my dad's lifetime. Right. He started hunting, in Utah, and like we didn't have elk in Utah really. Yeah. There was a few units that had a few, but really, basically since my childhood and my lifetime, essentially we've got an elk herd, great elk herd.
Right. Are you guys big score guys?
I know what some stuff scores, but I'm not hung up on a score.
Like, you said your dad's bull didn't sound like score mattered. No, it was just like a 6x6, and before it'd be like, could you hang a ring on it?
He would have never known what that bull scored until post 20 years, or one of us put a tape on it. We kind of figured out what score was.
Right. Okay. I'm not. It's good. It's a good. I don't know, reference point, I guess. But yeah, I always look at the animals, and I don't know. I'm not big on score. It's fun when they're dead, and just something to talk about. But man, I just like a good hunt.
I like the adventure side of it. Yeah. I always say, like, if it's snowing, if it's nasty out, and I can just picture that moment later on in my life and like share that thing, I'll rather take a smaller animal because it's just that moment of time.
Yeah.
Like, sure, a big mature old animal is great, but it's like the situation.
Yeah,
it's something I remember
trumps
from it. Oh, yeah, all day.
Well, how about, see that mule deer right there? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good buck.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mike Eastman took that one. I'm pretty sure on the winter range there.
Look how gorgeous that buck is.
Yeah, it's tough.
Their face is so pretty.
Oh,
their demeanor, their posture.
No, I love
body size.
I got a few mule deer in here. I do love them.
I've been looking at them. Oh, yeah.
I do love them, but it's like, they're not elk.
They're not elk.
And that's what's crazy.
That's all you need to say. I think this conversation's over. They're not elk. That's it.
I go back to Minnesota every summer, like 4th of July, hanging out with all my dad's friends. We all talk hunting all the time. We all get together, have a big cook-off. They're like, Brady, why haven't we hunted elk yet? That's the biggest conversation.
What do you mean? You've never hunted elk?
No, I've killed some bulls. I've killed
okay.
but like they want me to chase elk as my number one thing because that's all their dream. Everyone in the Midwest wants to come out and hunt elk.
Shouldn't that tell you something?
Why is that?
Yeah, shouldn't that tell you something?
It maybe should. I like being an outlier. I like flying under the radar a little bit.
Well, you know, that's the theme to the show is outliers.
Oh.
So it's usually a positive, though. Not that you're...
Not a negative.
Oh, there we go. I'll take that as a win.
Sorry, bud. This is the first time on Cam's show that an outlier was a bad thing. In a negative way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested in the Utah habitat because, you know, where I hunt a big property and they do a lot of management. I don't know if have you ever been involved up there in...
Not northern Utah, so southern Utah. I was in Cedar City, so we covered the entire southern end of the state and then east to west. Utah's done a really, and you know, I would commend the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources. I mean, they've really done a phenomenal job. And I mean, Mother Nature's, she's the dictator,
it's tough to predict,
right?
Yeah.
And if she gives you 3 or 4 years straight of drought and then a really hard winter, you're gonna kill some deer, you're gonna kill some elk, right? But as far as them being proactive about doing habitat restoration work and actually growing mule deer numbers when a lot of states are kind of continuing to decline, they've done that, and they'll continue to do it. Like, you're going to see things, you know, kind of turn around for them because they've just been so proactive with habitat restoration. And probably the coolest thing that they've done is they developed this, they call it a Utah Watershed Restoration Initiative. And what they've done that other states haven't is they've, and maybe some other states are working on it now, but I know for a long time they were the only state that had done it, where they entered into agreements with federal entities. So the BLM, Forest Service, the state, and private. And essentially what they did is pool their resources. So pool the money. And then they once a year would have projects. So everybody would put together their projects, they would pitch them, and then you would have a committee that would rank the projects. And everybody would pool their funding and put it towards those projects. And at that point, we were working across land boundaries. So instead of doing a 500-acre project on a piece of state land, we were doing a 5,000-acre project across BLM, state, and we were running all those contracts through the state. So we were getting bids on those contracts. We were able to get, you know, competitive. We were able to save some money, you know, put those contracts out for bid and oversee them. And I mean,
that's like a regular business.
It's a business. I mean, yeah.
Most governments don't run like a business.
No.
You know what I mean? They're not interested in making good decisions, just like, you know, keeping people, I guess, in jobs or whatever, just having a purpose, getting a paycheck. But I like to hear that government agencies working together for the common good of the wildlife.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
And they really did. And I mean, for years and years, there was no BLM anywhere in the West because of the red tape that they'd have to cut through was doing chainings.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
But we were doing it. We were doing 5 and 10,000 acre projects. We were doing it every year. We were doing, you know, bullhog projects, which are these, you know, big heads that are mounted on a skid steer, and they essentially masticate the tree, chew it up. You know, and we were putting seed in the ground before we did those projects, and it was primarily focused on winter range. So we're trying to remove pinyon and juniper and encourage regrowth of sagebrush, bitterbrush, and, you know, plants that were
it's better feed
for deer and elk. You know, so
yeah. Well, I mean, was
awesome.
It sounds like it's this year. You know, I know up where I hunt, I thought they said they didn't get 500 inches of snow, did they?
I don't know, but they got a lot.
There's a lot of snowpack. Like there's stuff in Nevada.
I think they told me 500
they may
inches.
have.
And the roads took a beating up there, but there's a lot of moisture, so it's a give and take. Hopefully the deer didn't get caught anywhere and died. You know, and probably be good for the elk because they do feed the elk up there. I think they actually feed them over in Wyoming on the winter range over there.
They're just a hardier, bigger, better animal.
Yeah.
just healthier, better survival. More majestic, you might say.
I feel like I got thrown on a bus.
Yeah.
No, we're just talking about feed and winter and stuff like that. Not
if you took that personal, that's on you.
It is on me.
Yeah. So, you started writing for GoHunt. Have you written to or?
Yeah, I mean, my story is kind of similar to Trail's in a sense. Just like I kind of did it a little bit differently because I was, you know, doing fisheries work in Montana.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I always knew I wanted to be in the hunting industry because I just love to hunt.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I was a 5th year senior.
Right.
So at the time, I was that person who is, I loved writing, I loved science-based writing, and I just wanted to share my story. So I started like writing in my tent. Little Write and Rain notebooks back in the day. Like I would just sit there and write articles. I have a random thought in my head. I start writing down the stuff about, how I approach a hunt or whatever like that.
Really?
So I started like pitching ideas out there everywhere, not making any money,
No,
but just basically
it's tough
just
to make money as a writer.
It was hard having a girlfriend at the time. Like, why are you staying up super late at night writing all the time? It's like, I just want to chase a dream.
Yeah.
I wanted to go put myself forward and do that. So I had a great job. Like I got paid to fly fish every day. That's literally what I did as a fisheries work. Like
what?
I worked for the feds, United States Geological Survey, and I didn't have to wear a uniform.
It's your tax dollars at work.
Yeah, the tax dollars at work. But it was more effective to fly fish than these streams because they're all steep and deep and fast.
Yeah.
So like if you put electricity in it to try to shock the fish, the fish would come up, but they wouldn't get shocked hard, so they would just dive right back down to the bottom. So it was easier just to fly fish.
Okay.
So I was in the best backpacking shape of my life, fly fished all these awesome waters all the time. But I always knew I wanted to chase hunting. That's my dream. And so I kept pitching everything out there. And it's kind of through social media.
Brady's also really good with the camera.
Yeah, I started getting into photography.
Okay.
Like I really wanted to, like I said, showcase to my family the crazy adventures I would go on. So I'd go on these hunts, take photos, write about them. No one probably read them. But like to me, it's like...
Where would you put them? It
was like bowhunting.com, bowhunting.net back in the day. Like they were pretty big websites back then.
Yeah,
but like,
I'm sure people read them.
Yeah, I had some articles published in some magazines.
Mule deer, nobody read them.
Yeah, probably Mule deer. But I was like, if one person reads it and they take one tip from me, I take that as a win. Like, that's all I ever loved doing. And so, social media started coming around, and I was, kind of an early adopter on that. So I was like, I'm going to showcase all my photos, all the crazy adventures I go on, all the sufferfests I do. And all of a sudden I got like a message on Instagram. It was like from Lorenzo, who owns GoHunt.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we're working on this thing. Can't tell you what it is, but it's going to be something pretty cool in the hunting industry. Wonder if you want to interview for it. And I was like, sure. I was out skiing the next week in Montana. I got a phone call, and it was from Las Vegas. And I knew they were from Las Vegas. I'm like, I got to go up to the lodge right now and get cell phone service ASAP so I can call them back. I missed the phone call. He calls me, starts telling me about everything they're working on. And he's like, I'll fly you down to Vegas. I'm like, I'm a small town boy. Like, literally the town I grew up in had 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So like the idea of Vegas was very, very, very interesting to me. And I lived in Montana. Like the most gorgeous place in the world, tons of hunting opportunity. I can do anything I want, outdoor related. And so like, hey, we'll fly you down. Flew down, started talking to me about the whole process of it, everything. And I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% sold. At the time, we weren't even a thing. No one knew about what GoHunt was going to be yet, but they told me the idea, the conception, what they want to evolve it into. I was like, yes, I want to be a part of that. I want to help people out, try to acquire tags, tell people stories.
You didn't agree that fast. You got to bargain a little bit.
I should have bargained harder.
It was a good deal when they said you have to move to Vegas, and you did it.
I had to leave Montana. I had a great job, but it was like Trail said, I was working for the feds, so like I had to bank up all my comp time and like you're battling trying to get a job every single year. But
and working in the hunting industry, that's kind of cool. It's what we love to do.
So I always wanted to chase that dream. So I went back, put my 2-week notice in, and then moved to this big giant concrete jungle
of Las
Vegas.
How long ago?
That was right beginning of 2014.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So you guys have been doing this for a while.
I've been doing it for quite a while. So
God, I didn't know that.
10 years. GoHunt's 10 years old this year.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. And how are you guys doing from where you started to where it's still growing or?
Still growing.
Oh, it's a crazy growth curve. We're already
still doing good.
We're 4 offices in. Like we've had to upgrade 4 different offices now because we keep outgrowing the office space, outgrowing a warehouse space. We're selling gear. Like it's insane where we started and then where we're at now. Like it's totally different. I don't think the vision really was where we're at now. Maybe it was slightly, but like just that growth curve and like all the ways we can help people out digitally, try to acquire tags is
we started out with just the insider research platform, and then we did that, and then we were like, hey, you know what? Let's think about a gear shop, and let's kind of look at it as being like a real procured experience, like gear that we really like and use. So we opened up the gear shop, and that's kind of when I came on. I'm kind of a gear nerd, so kind of worked into that as well. But opened up the gear shop, and then we thought, we have all the research, we have the gear to kind of help get you in the field. Like, what's the thing that you need next to kind of get in the field, stay in the field, be able to navigate it? Well, like maps, and we're all using maps to, apply and then also navigate when we're in the field. So Worked on the maps portion of it. So we have a functioning desktop maps platform with all the layers and everything. And then also works on your phone. So you can, download all your land ownership layers, your hunt boundaries, your fire layers, everything that you would need.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, game changer. So it's kind of like we like to call it an ecosystem. Like takes you from application from, the spring when you're applying for hunts and you're kind of doing your research to, the gear. We do a lot of content. Brady and I both work research and content. So we're doing, like YouTube videos and how-tos and writing articles to kind of help like tips and tricks, tactics to kind of help you be more successful.
Yeah.
And then the gear, and then also the ability to like plan a hunt, put a hunt together, and then navigate when you're in the field. So it's kind of like this entire ecosystem.
Yeah, 365-day process. Because everyone knows a hunter life cycle. Once you get into it, it's a 365 endeavor.
Yeah.
Like
if you want to be successful.
Yeah.
And so do you guys film hunts too?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And those are you have a YouTube channel
we're on
for
the
that?
GoHunt YouTube page. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do, what did we do? Maybe 12 last year.
Yep.
I think I don't know how many we're going to do this year. We're kind of laying out the old schedule. We're always I'm always bargaining for more. Like not necessarily filmed, just more hunting in general.
More hunting, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
More hunting. But if you want to throw a camera guy at it and it gets me out of the office to go hunting, then great, let's do that.
What makes a good film?
Just honestly, being real.
Yeah.
It's literally letting a story develop naturally on its own. Like you're going to have the ups, you're going to have the downs, you're going to have that roller coaster ride. But it's like having a good camera guy is very essential as well. You got to have a camera guy who can keep up, who's really good at documenting things.
I was going to say, shout out over there.
Nice. That'd be nice to have one of these days.
Must be nice.
Yeah, there's definitely camera guys that might not want to go with me anymore because they realize that if Brady's going to go out hunting, it's going to be something far nasty. It's going to snow. It's going to be cold.
But that's a good movie.
Story.
That's a good movie
that's
right
the good
there.
Thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, like I've never done a hunt film where like I went back and watched it and it like completely captured. I don't know that you can like fully. It's tough, right? Like you can't show how bad a pack out might have sucked. You know? But the ones that kind of visually, artistically kind of show and give somebody a glimpse into what that was in a genuine way is kind of what I like about a hunt film.
What stands out to you? What film? Have you seen a film that has done that? Or have you made one?
Yeah, I mean, I did one with Chris Neville. So we did a Wyoming elk hunt, just a general season elk hunt. Chris Neville worked there. It's called Out West. And Chris Neville had always wanted to come out west and hunt elks. He's from Iowa. He'd done some OTC stuff, never killed a bull. He came with me in Wyoming. It was like kind of my goal to help him get a bull. I ended up shooting one before he did, but that's just the breaks, right? But yeah, I mean, we got to put in like clips of him as a kid.
Oh. Telling a story, about him and his brother, and their stories of, trying to hunt whitetail on their own. And there's clips in there of him saying, he's like, probably 12. Yeah. And he's like, hey, it's just before dark, and he's like acting like he's on, the outdoor channel
thing.
And you got to see clips of him when he was a kid. And then, come full circle, like he got to go on this elk hunt and he killed a great 6-point bull. And, I mean, he hit the bull kind of high, and we found the arrow, and I looked at the arrow, and there was, a bunch of kind of fat towards the back end of it. And I was telling him, there's really only a couple points on the animal to get pretty fatty. It's typically like around their rump, or maybe up under their back straps. And we ended up blood trailing that bull, and it was pretty spotty, and it was dark, and I was out ahead of him, and I was blood trailing, and I kind of caught the glimpse of the antlers of that bull down off my headlamp. Whoa. And he was coming up behind me, and we'd been trailing for probably an hour at that point, and you know what it's like.
Your confidence is a little bit.
Your confidence is starting to shake,
Yeah.
And it just meant so much to him. The first bull he'd shot,
God.
And I yelled, hey, Chris, come over here. I think I found some blood. And he come over, head to the ground, and he's looking through his headlamp and he's going along the ground. And I said, yeah, there's a pretty good patch right over there. And I panned across and you could see the tine sticking up. And he just melted.
I bet.
Just lost it. So like when I watched that one, like I feel the emotion in him, and it captures that experience.
Yeah. That's the hard part, to capture the emotion of a hunt, because a lot of times it's either manufactured emotion or reenacted, and it's not. But it's when it's real, you can tell, and that, you know, what we do is so powerful, and it's really hard, as you said, to get it right. But it sounds like on that one you did.
That one you did.
Yeah.
I really liked. I loved it. I love just. I like thinking I was there, you know. So like to me, might mean something a little bit different. But I love that moment, just seeing him just melt with his first bull, you know, and the roller coaster of emotions that you feel when you hit an animal.
Yeah, it's the biggest roller coaster.
Big old bear hug you give when you
bear hug. Yeah,
it's just the best feeling ever.
Yeah. I love hunt films though. Like I used to go, when I was in college, I'd rent VHSs, you know, I'd go down to the local video store and rent, you know, Primos or whatever it was.
Me too.
So
Me too.
I love a good hunt film.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Elk Fever?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Larry D. Jones, Dwight Shue.
Yeah.
I watched that so many times.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty good for as old as it was. God, those guys did a good job. Yeah, that was fun. What about you? You got one that stands out?
Yeah, against with Chris Neville.
Yeah.
Like he's just like good to be around. He's
a different hunt?
He didn't kill on this one.
Oh.
Brady shot the buck out from
I shot the buck, but like it was that hunt again where, you know, it's November in Colorado.
Right.
I wanted to go high.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted to backpack it. So like, if we're gonna go really high elevation, like I always have these theories that like, you know, if the deer have every nutritional requirements that they need, they're going to be the big old mature buck. He's going to be up on top of the mountain. Right. Where's all the other hunters? They're down lower on their ATVs, side by sides, running around. So like we're going to go high up in the snow and start there because I want to start at a high elevation, work my way down.
Yeah.
So we drove our truck up in this little area, ended up parking it, and then the mountains just erupted on us, like 15, 20 inches of snow that night. Oh. And we were just going to go, you know, park the truck there and spike out and then go backpacking. So we're like, we got to get the truck off the mountain now. Like we're not maybe going to get this truck out of here till spring.
Oh God.
And so we didn't hunt that whole day. We didn't hunt the next day because we kept getting the truck stuck. We had my 4-wheeler with in case we needed it. We're breaking paths with the snow, trying to get the vehicle out of there. All of a sudden these guys on like side by sides with like full like snowmobile tracks come by. They're like, we're going to go out hunting. We're going to go elk hunting over here. If we come back later and you're still here, we'll try to tow you out, but we don't know what we can do for you. I'm like, my truck might stay here. So like literally I'm redlining my truck, have chains on everything, just beating up everything. And my truck's totally demolished from that hunt. Looks like an ad for a pickup truck, like driving through the mountains in the snow. Finally get it out of there. I'm like, you know what? That was horrible, but I think there's still deer up here. So we're going to relocate around. We're going to access this spot from a different area. Now it's going to involve like hiking 6.5 miles in the snow, in the cold. Like it was freezing cold temperatures.
Even with all that snow, why did you think there's still bucks up there?
Just the way the terrain and topography rolled through there, like it still was a really good transition area.
Okay.
But it was above 10,000 feet in November,
and they can still get out of there okay?
Yeah, like I think a lot of times the bucks can they can withstand a little bit more than a lot of people think they can. Yeah. Like they're still able to go up there. If the does are still there, like obviously the does peel off and they want to go chase the ladies, they're going to start peeling down. But does are up there and they want to get away from people. I see. So I just want to get away from the pressure and everything. I want to get away from OTC elk hunters at the same time. So we decided to backpack in, and we had these other guys that drove up next to us this little area, and we're like, we're going to go over there. They're like, you're going to go over there right now? We're like, yeah, we're going to go backpack in. Like, you guys have enough gear? We're like, yeah, we got a teepee, we got a little wood burning stove. We're just going to melt snow the whole time. And that's another thing why I like going to crazy places, because there's no water at that time. Everything's frozen. We have to melt snow every night. So every night you get back, you have to do your chores. I like that part of it.
Yeah.
So we backpacked all the way over there.
It weeds out a lot of people.
Yeah. We get all the way over there because I saw a buck from that spot and all the way in that distance. Like, yes, there is bucks up there. Confirmed it. Got all the way over there. And at the time, Neville had his little water bladder on the backside of his backpack. By the time we got over there, that thing was rock solid. Frozen, just completely frozen. So then that we set our teepee up, started camping. We realized there wasn't a lot of deer there. Like we were seeing, like right next to camp, there was this little pocket of trees. Yeah. There was a bunch of like little small bucks and some does, but not any mature animals. Like there's still some deer here. We'll make a whirl with it. But every morning we'd wake up and we looked like a Michelin man. We had every layer of clothes. We just had puppy jackets. Like we had to walk so slow. So we walked fast, we start to sweat. And then once we stopped, we start to freeze. Okay. So we were making giant bonfires the entire time, trying to stay warm after we're glassing. Like every time we stopped, we had to warm up. But it was all aspen trees. Okay. Aspen trees don't burn very well. So just like every day was a struggle. We kept making these big loops all the time in the deep snow. There's no one else hunting there. but we kept seeing tracks. We kept seeing a few deer here and there. At one point, we finally got on a buck, and I was like, "No, it's a good deer. Try to shoot it." He lays down on the ground, puts the barrel, it was a rifle hunt, right into the snow. Yeah. So it's all down his rifle. So I'm like, he has his hands out this whole time too. In the picture, it's negative degree temperatures.
Yeah, freezing.
The film's called Below Zero for a reason, because it was always below zero up there. And then his hands are out, touching the barrel, trying to get it warm. And I had my rifle right next to me. I could have handed it to him. I don't know. I didn't think of it.
Yeah.
So then he's trying to clean it out, gets it clean. We're trying to stack backpacks on top of the snow. The backpacks are pushing into the snow. Just like that constant struggle. And all of a sudden, like the deer just walks away and it gets too dark.
Oh, God.
And then he's sitting there, he's rolling around on the ground. His hands are completely numb. He just can't feel anything. And it's like, we're just laughing. Finally, he tries to get on a buck. He's never killed a mule deer before, so I really want him to kill a buck.
Yeah.
And we never glassed that spot right next to camp, the little basin I was saying with those smaller bucks. We never glassed in the evening. So one day we were like, let's just go back by camp early. I feel like
how many days were you up there?
It might have been like 5 or 6. And so like, let's just try it out. I feel like we're kind of quitting early almost because we're going back towards camp, but we never glassed in the evening. Get over there, and it's literally like camp's here, 100 yards is a big cliff, straight cliff all the way down, big bowl in the mountain, a bunch of aspen trees. Pull up the binos right away. It's just like this giant framed deer. And it's like, it's one of those situations where you have to almost drop your backpack, know how to shoot a rifle, lay on your gun, do everything proper, and try to take the shot. And I looked at Neville, and he's like, I can't take the shot right now because he's very new at rifle hunting. Yeah. So like, Brady, you need to shoot this deer. Didn't even know how big this deer was. We saw a giant frame, laid down, started getting digiscope, pressed the trigger, everything went perfectly. Deer fell down in the snow. And, we knew kind of where the deer was, but kind of lost sight of him. Didn't know exactly what this deer was. Again, we turned around, it's that giant bear hug. Like all that struggle throughout the whole week, freezing our butts off, like making fires all the time, melting snow.
I like to say that moment's like the only time when you ever see two dudes just completely...
You lose it.
Everything, you drop all inhibitions and you're just hugging like your best. I know. Just humongous bear hugs.
We've been through the fire.
Yeah. And we had every layer of clothes on still. But like, we have enough time right now. Let's go, start processing this buck. Yeah. We loop all the way down there. Had a hard time trying to find the bucks. Now it's dark out. And this is deep snow everywhere. I'm just zigzagging back and forth. It's one of those situations where I was like, I hope I see the deer first. Yeah. I don't hope like no one else sees it and I can walk up to it. I saw the antler tine. I'm like, I got the deer. He's laying there. Walk over to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this deer is growing. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger. All of a sudden, I lift the rack out of the snow, and it's the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
It's still this day the biggest buck I've ever shot, over 200-inch mule deer. Whoa. Never knew it was that big, but just had the big body, had the frame, and like all that struggle throughout the whole week. The guys thinking we were crazy for going backpacking over there, almost getting the truck buried until spring, and having to share it with Neville at the same time. And even though I wanted him to kill a deer so bad, and this was like the night before, it was the second to last day of the season. So like, we just decided,
that was pretty much it.
We're going to ride that high and go out. And then the whole time back, we're like, man, I wonder what the warm toast would feel like. I wonder what a cheeseburger would taste like right now. You start thinking about food. You start thinking about everything. We just wanted to get warm.
I bet.
But it was just like that struggle, that enjoyment of sharing it with each other. And like,
who filmed it?
That was our old film guy, Mather.
Maycor,
Yeah, he's a super talented guy. He's actually not from the hunting industry.
From Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. But he's really good at documentary stuff. So he likes just to, goes outside the hunt, doesn't want to put himself in it at all, and just likes to try to document it and just be away from it. And he's just really super talented. And he makes all the music himself too. He's strum on a guitar, do a little piano thing. So all the music you ever hear in our film, that's all him himself, just making that music for it, and does all the editing, and super talented guy.
How do you feel about filming hunts? You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather just be by myself hunting, but
I think we all kind of feel the same way.
It's, but when you get something to share and it can impact people, that's great too. And because you want to share, what we do is so powerful, and it is, as we've talked about, it can influence your life and change it in different ways. But to be able to share that, if it's done right, Brandlin, I've been pretty lucky. He's a great storyteller. And so it's making something special that impacts people. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah. Filming, but so there's give and take to it. But.
Do you ever go back and watch them and you're like, man, I screwed that up. Like, why did I do that when I should have done this? Like as I'm watching back through my hunts, it seems like I'm always analyzing the entire hunt. Like, did I make the right move there? Did I bugle when I should have? Did I cattle call?
I don't know. It just kind of is what it is. You know, the hunts, you're always going to have those moments you wish you would have done something different. You know, when it works out, it just works out. But what I enjoy most is I like the old stuff with me and Roy. I got all that footage. So when I left Eastman's, part of it was, you know, they bought me out, then gave me all my old footage. Cool. And we had so much with Roy. And so I have that. And it's like, now it's very meaningful because, you know, he's gone. So it's, I enjoy, like we did on this last bear film, is tying our old journey. It's kind of like what you did with Neville and his, you know, growing up, because when you've been doing this for 30 years, it's a story, you know, it's like, it's not just people have this, maybe who aren't involved have this notion that maybe we're just doing this just to be on TV. But when you see that, or just to make a movie, but when you see you've been doing this for 30 years, you're like, people can be like, oh, okay, this is what this guy's about. This isn't just like to be Insta famous or whatever the hell people might think. So I just like that, as we talked about the story, I like a film that tells the story in our lives, that story, and anytime you can tie that in and make it powerful, I love it. I don't like having a cameraman with me all the time. But whatever.
He resonates with me when you talk about having that film or that footage with Roy. Because like you would, you don't anticipate that the worst is ever going to happen, and when you're going along, I mean, you don't ever anticipate that. Like, you just think everybody's going to be there always, you know. And I mean, the ability that you have that footage, like the meaning that holds for you now is infinitely. You couldn't measure it compared to what it was then, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So I think about that too. I think it is kind of annoying to have a camera guy with you. And there's a little bit of, you know, I don't necessarily love that whole side of it, but I mean, you never know. You never know when your number's up, and like,
no.
I think it's the ability. I think about that, like, it resonates with me. Like, for my friends, my family, my kids, you know, that'll live on forever.
Yeah, it's you know, his legacy is, you know, some you know, many people have said it, but somebody dies twice, essentially. It's when they die, and then when their name's spoken the last time. And so I like people knowing how much of an impact he had on my life. And then when I watched this, we used to film everything, and we just had the best time. And so when we'd watch the film, it would just be for fun. We'd just be like, you know, oh, this is awesome, big bear, and now I watch it and it has a whole different feel. And now I watch it and it makes me sad.
Sure.
And, you know, it's just like, but I have it. And it's just like, yeah, life sucks sometimes. And that's okay. I can still see and remember how we were when we were young and how we got to where we are. And, you know, he's not here anymore, but I have that footage. And that's, you know, that's always going to be special. And, so it's changed. It's the same footage, but it just means something different now.
Which is something I don't think about when I'm out with a camera guy, you know. I'm
not thinking about legacy when I'm filming.
Me either.
I'm thinking about, why are you making so much noise?
Why did you screw that up for me?
So it's not really that deep, or
I got one for you. Why do you never have any water? Why is it that no cameraman on planet Earth can ever figure out their water situation? It's like, okay, we have to go hunting in the morning. You don't have any water? Well, guess when elk are active? In the morning. I don't want to go get water.
Gotta do your chores.
I know. But I mean, so aside from all that, it's like, if you think about it, how lucky are we to be able to do, you know, we love hunting. And we're able to, I guess, make a living doing what we love. Most people, like, and I said this today in my little talk, like, where I came from, the closest you'd get to a positive affirmation in like the little town I lived was like, yeah, you're not the biggest fuck up I've ever seen. And I was like, Thank you.
Yeah.
And so
compliment.
So when you can go from like most of the time, you know, you have some shitty job, you maybe drink some beer at night after work, you drink beer on the weekend, then you go back to your shitty job on Monday. So that's the existence of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, look what we're doing. We're talking about hunting. We're talking about what we love. Yeah, we've lost some friends and it's been hard and life sucks sometimes, but we're still here doing what we love, spending time around amazingly positive people today in an incredible environment. It's like, it's really tough to complain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think we're blessed. I think this is like, I mean, it just feel really lucky to be sitting here, even to be talking to you guys about, you know, GoHunt and about the day and about our journey coming up as hunters. It's like, I don't know. It's, I don't want to take it for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is
likewise.
This is, we're in a special place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to, you know, I know you guys were busy all day today. I know you got to fly home tomorrow. It means a lot to me that you would agree to do the podcast, sit down and talk when there's plenty of other things to do, get some rest. So thank you very much. It's, you know, it means a lot that you do this. I appreciate you guys.
Likewise. I mean, I bought backcountry bow hunting. And
everyone has that.
I mean, I went bivvy hunting back then based on your recommendation. You know, so it was a cool opportunity to meet you and to come up. And I think, you know, speaking for GoHunt, you know, we're super pleased that we had the opportunity to come up and be a part of it. And I mean, I hope today and all the people that we talked to, even though we went a mile a minute, I hope there was something that those guys picked up that they can use to put it towards their own adventure.
Yeah.
I didn't hear one negative word all day.
Yeah.
From however many people were there, not one negative word about anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So whatever you guys did, it worked.
We talked a lot.
That's more than I'll talk in a month.
But you know, we had a guy there from Eugene Weekly, which is like the most liberal paper in town, right?
Oh, yeah?
And he was there all day. Mm-hmm. So you know, there was some people who had reservations about they're going to write a hit piece on hunting because they, you know, you never know what you're going to get. Yep. This is a college town. It's, you know, not a lot of hunters up for the university. So I just think if nothing else, he's going to feel how passionate we are, how much we care, how important this is to our lives. So, because nobody there could take anything other than that away from it.
Yep.
So yeah, you can talk about hunters and why would you kill innocent animals and that. Somebody who doesn't know and they see that what we did today, it's going to be like, I don't know about hunting, but these guys are very serious and very passionate.
They're into it.
They're into it. So I don't know how the article's going to be, but he was there all day. He worked out. He shot a bow.
Yeah, I saw him shoot a bow.
Oh,
That was really cool.
Man, nobody that shoots a bow is going to walk away from that hate.
He's probably hooked.
I
There's
asked
no
him,
chance.
I said, so is this going to be a hit piece or anything? And he's like, no, this has been he's going to be at the race tomorrow. He's going to run the 10K. So it's like, when we can have, you know, a connection like that, you don't have to be some rough, tough, badass hunter to be welcome into our, you know, the little clique that we have. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. You're welcome. Yep. Here's what we do. Here's why we love it. What do you think? To me, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge win.
And you guys were part of that. And I'm very grateful, and I'm very grateful for this time. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
All right, you guys go check out GoHunt and check out Brady and Trail, and we'll keep hammering here. Thanks. I think we all can agree, no one likes a plumber's crack. My suggestion, Groove Life belts and longer shirts. But not only does Groove Life have belts, they have silicone rings, watch bands, and wallets for everyday use. I've been using their belts for over a year now, and I can tell you they're easy to adjust and my crack is covered. Go to groovelife.com/CAM and use code CAM for 20% off your order.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My my fault. They want someone to blame. They send their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in